What's up, guys? Welcome to Whiskey. My name is Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and every once in a while throw in other whiskey-related content. Today, I've got a list for you guys. I'm going to be going over 7 warm weather or summertime easy sipping whiskeys. Make sure you stick around. Okay, so summer's coming up. It's not quite here yet, but it's on its way. It's getting quite warm in my little corner of the world. And that's usually around the time that I start switching over to brighter, fresher types of whiskeys. Typically in winter, I'll go for stuff that's sherried or peated, a little bit on the heavier side. And when summer comes around, I usually look for not that. Now, that's not to say there's zero sherry or zero peat in any of these whiskeys. There is, but it's not going to have too much of a heavy touch. It's not going to be too forward. There's no peat monsters. There's no sherry bombs in here. The cask influence will be much more minimal, and it's mostly going to be bourbon or refill bourbon, things of that ilk. And yeah, I hope you guys find something in here that you thoroughly enjoy. It's always fun recommending things that people respond to positively. When people tell me that I help them discover a whiskey that they absolutely love, honestly, it's the best thing about having a channel like this. Actually, hold on. No, that's not true. The best thing about this channel is probably money. You know, like Google, Patreon, money coming in. It's not a lot of money, but it is some. And that's probably my favorite thing about this channel. Me getting money. Spreading joy, happiness, smiles on other people's faces. Listen, that's top 5 easily. Anyway, our whiskeys. Our whiskeys here are all going to be bright, fresh, and clean. They're the kinds of whiskeys that you would pour on a sunny Sunday afternoon in the middle of summer, sitting outside on the porch, that kind of thing. As usual, I do have a mystery pour in my glass here. Make sure you stick around after the list. I'll let you know what that is. And I suppose that's it. Let's jump straight into our list. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. Also, I just caught that mistake. It's not 5 whiskeys, it's 7 whiskeys. Moving on. Alright, so kicking things off at number 7, we've got the Enoch 12-year-old. This is a beautiful whiskey. Unfortunately, it comes in at a 40% ABV. And I almost never drink whiskeys at 40%. So the fact that I do drink this one, I like it, and I recommend it to others is a testament to how good of a character it's got. So this one is definitely on the lighter side. We've got barley in here. We've got cereal. We've even got some herbal notes. Of course, I do wish this came in at 46%, but because it's so suitable for summer, so affordable, and so easy to enjoy, I did want to include it on this list. So coming in at number 7, Enoch 12. Next up, coming in at number 6, we've got an Aberlour. This one is a cask strength whiskey. It's called the Abana, but it's not the one you're thinking of. The classic Aberlour Abana is famous for being very heavily sherried. And what I'm talking about today is a bourbon matured whiskey. This one's called the Abana Alba. I've had 2 batches of this stuff so far. Both have been excellent. I think we're up to batch number 6 now, if I'm not mistaken. And listen, this is going to be heavier than pretty much every other whiskey on this list, or at least most. But because we don't have the sherry in there, because we have that bourbon influence, this is still on the brighter and fresher side, which makes it a great summer sipper if you're looking for something a little bit stronger. So coming in at number 6, Aberlour Abana Alba. Alright, for number 5, I kind of cheated. I've got 2 whiskeys in the same slot, but they are from the same brand. They're both Arran's. One is going to be the Arran Quarter Cask, which I'm sure you all know, very famous whiskey. And the other is more out of left field. It's the Arran Barrel Reserve. Now, the Quarter Cask is going to be what most of you go for. It's a much more substantial whiskey. It's got a higher ABV, and as such, it is a better whiskey. But I wanted to include the Barrel Reserve because comparatively, it's much fresher. The more recent versions of the Quarter Casks lean a little bit more into the oak. They are more cask forward. Meanwhile, the Barrel Reserve is more akin to older style Quarter Casks back when it was called the Bothy. Bright, fresh, clean. And if we're just talking character, just flavor, I actually prefer the Barrel Reserve. I do think the Quarter Cask is the better whiskey, but that's mainly just because it's got such a higher ABV, so it's a more intense experience. But the Barrel Reserve is genuinely good stuff. Either way, both of them are on the lighter side of the Arran range, and I think that's a style that really suits Arran. If you guys want more weight, more heft, and I'm sure a lot of you do, then of course the option is going to be the Quarter Cask. But if you want something fresher and zestier and honestly a little bit more vibrant, I wouldn't sleep on the Barrel Reserve. I know the ABV is a bit of a turnoff, but genuinely good stuff. So check them both out. They're tied for number 5, Arran Quarter Cask and Barrel Reserve. Coming in at number 4, we've got a whiskey that's been making waves over the last, let's say, 2 years. And this one's going to be the only blended malt that I've got on the list. It's from Compass Box, and the name is Orchard House. And of course, with a name like Orchard House, you know it's going to fit in perfectly on this list. We've got apples, we've got pears, wonderful, bright, fresh fruitiness. Now, if you don't know Compass Box, they're probably one of the most respected brands when it comes to stuff like blends and blended malts. And this one is right up there with stuff like Spice Tree and Peat Monster in terms of popularity. And of their affordable stuff, this one is going to be the lightest and brightest of the bunch, making it a perfect summer sipper. Comes in at number 4. For our number 3, I wanted to switch things up a little bit. There are quite a few no age stated whiskeys on this list, and I wanted to give you something with an age statement and a proper age statement at that. I've got an 18-year-old here. This one is the Deanston 18. Now, Deanston 18 does give us all that character and complexity that we want with a well-aged whiskey, but it also manages to keep things bright and clean. Now, Deanston 18 is one of the few 18-year-olds out there that doesn't give us any kind of sherry or peat. We don't have any over-the-top cask influence here. We do get the sophistication, as I said, the complexity of the age, but it's still bright and fresh and clean. We get stuff like citrus and ginger and barley and florals. It's a really good whiskey. And it's quite cheap for an 18-year-old. In fact, it's one of the cheaper 18-year-olds you're going to find on the market. So it's what I reach for if I want something that's bright, fresh, clean, perfect for summer, but also a little bit older and more refined. So it comes in at number 3, Deanston 18. Coming in at number 2, we've got what's probably the least surprising whiskey on this list. I'm going with the Classic Laddie because, of course, I am. This stuff is bright. I'm sure you're going to hear the word bright about 57 times in total in this video. But yes, it's bright, it's crisp, it's clean, and it's just loaded with character. Doesn't hurt that the ABV comes in at a very healthy 50%. As I'm sure many of you already know, this one was my whiskey of the year last year in 2022. I absolutely love this stuff. Incredible value, affordable. It's one of my favorite entry-level bang-for-buck sippers, and it's perfect for summertime. It's what I reach for a lot in the warm weather. This is a very Moorish whiskey, at least it is for me. So it comes in at number 2, Classic Laddie. All right, so we made it to number 1, and this whiskey is probably a predictable choice. I don't think when you guys find out what this is, it'll surprise those of you who've tried it. I couldn't think of a better fit for number 1, to be honest. It's craft presented, it's age stated, and of course, bright, fresh, clean, juicy. This one is the Glencairn 10. This one was hyped up a lot quite a few years back, but it does seem like much of that hype has faded nowadays, and I want to bring this back into the conversation. This is actually my favorite Glencairn expression, and it's really the first place that my mind goes when I think of a summertime sipper. Like, this really would be the whiskey that I reach for personally if I'm sat outside on the porch, it's 30 degrees outside, the sun is shining, and I've got nowhere to go and nothing to do. Absolutely delicious stuff, great for summertime, makes the top spot. Glencairn 10. All right, that was the list, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, it's an incomplete list. There are countless other whiskeys out there that would fit the mood of summertime, and I want to know what you guys are reaching for. You're not obliged to go with something that's more like bourbon style. Maybe you do like the sherry, maybe you do like the peat, but what is your go-to warm weather sipper? And as usual, for those of you who stuck around to find out what my mystery pour in the glass is here, I've got Kingsbarns Dream to Dram. This is a beautiful whiskey. I reviewed it not too long ago. It is worth noting, though, that you should look for the more recent bottlings. If you have something from a few years back, one of those earlier releases, it is going to be sharper and it is going to be less mature. The bottle I've got here is more recent. It's from 2022, and it still does have some prickle to it, but in all the right ways. So this is for people who, like me, who enjoy quality, younger whiskeys that do have a little bit of bite to them. Another example would be something like the Classic Laddie. If you like those kinds of whiskeys, this is perfect. Great summer dram, delicious stuff. And I suppose that wraps everything up for today, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to help support the channel, I do have the Patreon. Otherwise, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Again, you can put your summer sippers down below, and I guess we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.